Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Mark. I'm an actor and playwright, here to talk with you about my thoughts on the tentative agreement ending the months-long strike with my union, SAG-AFTRA. And I'm proud to be a new member in the last couple of years. This is my first time I'm going to be voting on something like this, and I'm still honestly undecided. I'd like to talk about arguments I've heard on both sides, whether we should vote yes on ratifying this tentative agreement. Before I get into those thoughts, however, if you're an actor yourself, you want to follow, see videos that are related to that, or you're just a lover of the theater in general, want to follow the content that I post, please consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. That said, obviously initially, whenever a strike ends, you hear all the talk about how we won, we've got a contract, we've only got a tentative agreement. The days go by when after you hear the initial talk about victory, then you all start hearing the naysayers saying all the reasons why we didn't win everything we wanted to. And you got to remember, we never win everything we wanted to. Is that a reason for voting no? Maybe. I'm going to ask a lot of questions here that might sound like rhetorical questions. They're really not. I am interested in hearing feedback from other actors, other SAG-AFTRA members, or just people that have reason to be interested in this topic. And I'll include in the description a link to where you can vote. As of now, I am myself an undecided voter on this, and I would like to get a discussion going with people on this. Because I'm being inundated, mostly on TikTok. I'm seeing a lot of other actors are posting stuff about, they're saying we didn't win anything with the all important thing, which is the heart of the strike about AI. The studios demand that they be able to scan our likeness and use it in perpetuity with no compensation whatsoever. And other actors, other SAG-AFTRA members are insisting that we've won nothing here. They can still get around that. Response back to that, some stuff that I'm reading now that I'm getting from my union encouraging the yes vote, countering that. And they said, and they've underlined it, they said mandatory consent from performers is required before creating and using digital replicas. And this is a point that the people urging a no vote keep coming back to and saying that is no guarantee whatsoever. They're saying they need your consent before they can use your likeness for anything. But what they're coming back with is saying, well, actors that refuse to give that consent are not going to be so much as invited to even audition until they first give that consent. Yet you can refuse and be out of work. Those are your two choices. Heard for a lot when people always say, "Oh, unions are not necessary anymore." Can you give me one strong argument? And I always say, well, I can give you two. Koufax and Drysdale. The years that there was that asinine reserve clause where players couldn't unionize, couldn't come together. The teams were free to collude and so forth, and all have that thing in every single contract of saying the reserve clause that we're giving you a contract for 1 year, we'll pay you for a year. When we offer you a new contract at the beginning of the next season, you have two choices, take it or leave it, but you may not go negotiate with other teams. But why I say Koufax and Drysdale come out is that not just one, but two standing up together, the power of one by themselves without a union, the power of two, the two greatest pitchers in the game decided to hold out for more money, and they held out a long time. Did they win? No, they did not. And so anyone that says, "Oh, well, without a union bargaining for more than what you're worth, you'll just get what you're worth." If you don't get what you're demanding, well, maybe you don't deserve it. It's because you suck. Yeah, Koufax and Drysdale at their prime, did they suck? So that is a very strong argument that I'm hearing for voting no, when they say that requiring your consent, that is no concession whatsoever that has been made to us. However, looking at what SAG has sent to me in rebuttal, what they're emphasizing, they're saying there has to be, the clear contract has to have a specific description of the use, how they're going to use it, And then it also says they circle the word use. They say, but additional, I'm curious about this, but it says additional consent required for use in additional projects. It's certainly not something that the other side of the negotiating table was offering before the strike. We certainly had to go through the months of the strike that we did in order to win that. Is that a powerful thing? Is it not? I'm curious what other people watching this have to say about that in the comments, because you know, that if they say, well, they can scan your likeness, they can have it, but I know that their initial proposal was that we can pay you for 1 day of work, we're going to scan your likeness, and we can use it in perpetuity with no extra compensation, no consent. But if that part that I'm reading right here is true, that to me seems to counter the argument that that we just made about you're so weak you have no choice but to sign or else you don't work. That wouldn't lead me to believe that they're just saying, well, you're just giving your consent to scan your image and keep your likeness, but not to use it forever in perpetuity with no extra compensation. And they further emphasize, okay, it's about the distinction between the creation, which they underline, versus the use of the replica. And then also saying residuals, which was another big thing that we were talking about. That was part of the breakdown in negotiations that led to the strike. Residuals will also be paid for any use that would normally generate residuals. So, I mean, if they could scan our likeness, use it for AI, and they don't have to keep hiring us, but they do have to pay us residuals for it, that's another thing that would mitigate the criticisms I'm hearing of this from other SAG-AFTRA members. Producers are obligated to obtain consent prior to use of the performer. Consent not obtained before death must be obtainable from an authorized representative or the union. Clear contracts with a reasonably specific description of the use. And then finally, they're emphasizing the point about also the compensation that is paid for your independently created digital replica will be subject to pension or retirement and health contributions, which is a big thing that if it's not very important to you as an employee of this or any other of any other business, it should be. So that's kind of where we're at. But the one final thought I wanted to close on, and again, this is not a rhetorical question. I'm curious what you have to think about this is. My question is the replacement of us as actors or a lot of other things that you may do for a living are being replaced by artificial intelligence? Is that one of those inevitable things that we need to just kind of accept, realize that it sucks, but it's coming no matter what? They say, well, Blockbuster Video being out of business. I mean, trying to save those coal miners' jobs by opposing green energy. That's like saying, oh, those poor Blockbuster Video employees are being put out of business because of new technologies that have replaced VHS. Should we still be fighting that battle? Should the response to streaming services, to DVDs coming out, be that we're going to tax DVDs and streaming services out of existence in order to save the job? Okay, yeah, that one was a rhetorical question. I mean, I do think it is a little ridiculous, the people that would suggest that. I do think it's a little ridiculous, the people that think that environmentalists are bad guys for hurting coal miners' jobs. Where it's not a rhetorical question, where I really am interested in your feedback here, that I hope you leave in the comments, is, can the same thing be said about AI replacing actors, at least to some degree? And I want to hear your feedback, so please leave it. And once again, if you're an actor, lover of the theater, please check out my other content and consider subscribing to my channel. And I hope to see you guys real soon.